Hello, this is Senilepope. It's March 30th. The Blackrock Mountain adventure cards have just all been released this afternoon, and I'm going to do a quick review of them. I'm not a pro. I'll probably get these wrong. I thought Web Spinner was going to be shit and Nax, and it turned out to be great. And I thought Poison Seeds was going to be great, but it turned out never to see the meta. So that's just to let you know, I probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But first card up is Twilight Whelp. I think this is actually going to be pretty good. A 2-1 for 1, even if the Battlecry doesn't activate, it's still going to be good. And if you're playing a dragon deck, 2-3 for 1 is great. Better than Zombie Chow, except Priest was the one class that could use Zombie Chow with Akanai. So I think it's going to be good. They really need a 1-drop. Priest really needs a 1-drop that's not Northshire Cleric, and I think in a dragon deck this will be good. Next card, Dragon Egg. Not a good card in my opinion. A 0-2 for 1, and it summons a whelp when it takes damage. I would just rather play 2 Leper Gnomes or something like that, or the little 2-1 mech. And you're gonna need a card to combo this because it can't trade by itself. So you might as well just play 2 Leper Gnomes. The next card, Revenge. I've seen a little bit of talk about this today. It's deal 1 damage to all minions. If you have 12 or less health, deal 3 damage instead. It's pretty much an expensive whirlwind until you're below 12 health, which means you're going to probably be playing it endgame. But I guess you could do something with Moltons, and I don't think it's that great. I don't see this making a lot of play because you got to be below 12. But I guess it could be good against aggro. You get down below 12, you armor up. It could be good. I don't think this card is going to be as good as what I've been hearing. Resurrect. 2 mana, summon a random friendly minion that died this game. Pretty good card. Goes really good with the Injured Blade Master. It's not going to trigger its damage Battlecry, so you're going to get a 4/7 back if you get that. Only problem I see with this is you could get a Northshire Cleric back, which might not be the end of the world if you can do some healing and some card draw. I think it's going to be a good card, but it's probably going to require a deck that's a little more minion heavy and a little less removal than some of what we see now. Priest. Next card, Quick Shot. This is probably the better of the 2 Hunter cards that got released. This is the one that just got released this afternoon. Deal 3 damage. If your hand is empty, draw a card. This is kind of like the Dark Bomb for Warlock, except it's got the draw a card if your hand is empty. This is really the only card that is pro aggro that I can remember out of the Blackrock set. Basically, you can just use this to remove minions or keep it in hand, you know, just to get that finishing blow. I think it's going to make its way into pretty much all the aggro decks. Definitely one of the better cards out of this set. Lava Shock. I think this card is kind of overplayed. It's deal 2 damage, unlock your overloaded mana crystals. Basically, you overload and you gotta hope that you get this to be able to unlock your hand. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to be as great as everyone's. Just you have to have the right card, right overload cards, and you have to have this, and then you have to have the extra mana to play this. Kind of iffy, in my opinion. Gang up, this is the Rogue spell card. Choose a minion, shuffle 3 copies of it into your deck. Definitely not good in the current meta, as far as I can tell, and doesn't go into Oil Rogue, or Oil Rogue, yeah. So they usually don't run a lot of minions, and this is just kind of shuffle 3 copies of a minion and hope you get it. Has no immediate effect. Don't think it's going to see any play. Maybe Fatigue Rogue is going to finally take off and combine this with Vanish and return all the cards to the owner's hand. Maybe is a fun deck. I can see this, but just not in competitive play. Imp Gang Boss, probably one of the better cards in my opinion. I play Demon Lock, and I was always wondering, what am I going to put in for a 3-drop? I was using Ogre Brutes and Spider Tanks, and they just didn't really fit with the Demon theme. This is going to fill the 3-drop in Demon Lock, which they sorely need. Just awesome card. Flamewaker, a great card for Mage. After you cast a spell, deal 2 damage randomly split among all enemies. Just really great. I really can't say too much about it. It's like a Knife Juggler for spells, and it's a little bit better in that regard. Probably things like Magic Missiles and maybe even Arcane Explosion might make a comeback with this and some other cards they have, but even a 2/4 for 3 is not a bad stat distribution. Druid of the Flame. Choose one, transform into a 5/2 minion or a 2/5 minion. I think this is going to be pretty good. This might replace Shade of Naxxramas and Druid, the 2/5. You're almost certainly going to be able to 2 for 1 with this. So yeah, I think I'm going to put this in my Druid deck, maybe take out the Shades of Naxxramas. And Blackwing Technician, 3 mana, Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon game, +1/+1. This is the Tinkertown Technician for dragons. Just like Tinkertown Technician, it's going to be great. The stats are just great for a 3-drop. That's basically all there is to it. Demon Wrath. Deal 2 damage to all non-demon minions. I think this is going to be a great card. It's going to take out Hellfire in my Demon Lock deck. And with the Ink Gang Boss, I think the only thing that I'm running that's not a demon is Dr. Boom, and maybe a Sylvanas. I pull it out, so definitely welcome. They didn't really need it. They already had Hellfire, which wasn't that great, and they had Shadow Flame. They just have more removal, so they have a lot of choices. Not going to be in Zoolock. It's pretty much a Demon Lock only card, but it's still pretty awesome. Hungry Dragon. 4 mana, summon a random 1-cost minion for your opponent. I'm kind of conflicted about this. Is like the Pit Lord, except it doesn't have the deal 5 damage. But that one cost minion could be anything from a horrible Dragon Egg, or it could be the Dust Devil, the 3/1 with Wind Fury the Shaman has, and if you can't take that out, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And playing this against an aggro deck, it could be bad too. Most of the 1-drops are 1/2s and 2/1s, but it's going to be nice to see a lot of the 1-drops. The Goldshire Footman is going to see a lot of action, probably more than he's seen lately. The Fireguard Destroyer Battlecry gain 1/4 attack over there. This card is amazing. It's got the same stats as the Water Elemental that Mage has. Doesn't have the freeze, but the 1/4 attack is going to be amazing. So it could be anything from a 4/6 to a 7/6 on turn 4. It's only got 1 overload. If you really want, maybe you could use the Lava Shock, but even 1 overload is not bad. A 4/6 for 5 is not even that bad, and you can spread the cost over 2 turns. Definitely going to be on all the decks. I think 4-drops are going to be pretty contested with. You've already got Piloted Shredder, the Yeti, and the Hungry Dragon, but this is like pretty much a no-brainer for Shaman. It's going to see a lot of play. The Dragonkin Sorcerer, another 4-drop. Not going to see any play in my opinion. It's a 3/5 that's pretty vanilla. Whenever you target this minion with a spell, gain +1/+1. You don't see a lot of minion buffing spells in decks, and that's because you don't want to invest too many cards in a minion. Don't think this is going to get any play. Maybe in a mech deck with a lot of spare parts, but I just don't see this seeing much play at all. The Core Rager. Battlecry, if your hand is empty, gain +3/+3. It's a 4-drop. There's a lot of great 4-drops. Doesn't really go aggro. Going to aggro, in my opinion. Your hand's probably not going to be empty on turn 4 that you're going to play this. And a 4/4 on turn 4 is just abysmal. Even Yeti is better. Piloted Shredder is way better. Hungry Dragon's way better. Thank goodness they got Quick Shot, because I don't think this is going to see me play at all. X-Flinger. 4-drop 2/5. Whenever this minion takes damage, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. I want to like this card. I play a Frothing Berserker in my Control Warrior, but I don't think this is going to be that great. At the very least, you're almost guaranteed 2 damage to the enemy hero, but it's a 4-drop. You have Piloted Shredders, you have the Hungry Dragon. I think this is better than Yeti, but I don't know how this is going to work out. Put a Cruel Taskmaster on it. Maybe, I don't know. I hope people make this work. I'm going to try to make it work, but I don't think it's gonna see a lot of play, especially in Control Warrior, which is all Warrior plays. So I think it's going to be bad, but I'm hoping that it's going to be good. And Grim Patron, one of the first cards that Blizzard showed. Whenever this minion survives damage, summon another Grim Patron. 5 mana. Possibly in Warrior, and only in Warrior. I think this was one of the cards being played in the stream today, with the Warsong Commander. I don't think this is going to be good, and for the one reason, it's too expensive, and there's a lot of good 5 drops like Loatheb, Sledge Belcher, and Antique Keelbot. I think this is going to be in fun decks. Never gonna see ladder. Dragon Consort. I really like this card. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the better cards that has come out. 5 mana, Battlecry. The next dragon you play costs 2 less. It doesn't have to be turn 6. It could be turn 7. So it lasts until you play a dragon. Gonna be good with the aspects. Alexstrasza, Malygos, Norsdamu, who's not going to see this guy. Looks like a Bronze Drake like Norsdamu. Just a great card, going to be in dragon decks. Imagine a Malygos and then a Consecration together. That's absolutely amazing. Or, you know, just anything, or a Varian, or if you really want to turn a turn 8 Deathwing. Just lots of possibilities with this card. Immediately does something when it comes into play. A 5/5 for 5 is not bad at all. Dark Iron Skulker, 5-drop, Battlecry, deal 2 damage to all undamaged minions. It's got the stats of a 3-drop, and you're paying 2 extra for that backstab to all undamaged minions. This might be good in an aggro heavy meta. Not going to go into Oil Rogue. I don't think it's. I think Oil Rogue's a little tight in cards already. Maybe though. I don't know. My initial thought is it's not going to see much play. Especially if you're doing Fan of Knives and you're damaging minions, big minions. This isn't going to work on this. Good in an aggro heavy meta, but I don't think it's going to see much play. Blackwing Corruptor, 5-drop, Battlecry if you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage. It's like a decent fire elemental, but a bad Goblin Blast Mage. Both of those are class cards. This isn't bad. Is it better than a Sludge Belcher that's 5? Is it better than Loatheb that's also 5? Is it going to be better than Antique Keelbot? It's also 5. I think it's going to see a place in pretty much every dragon deck, but I don't know really how it's going to turn out. But the 3 damage on Earth Elemental is amazing. I think this should be pretty good. Another thing is, if you're holding a dragon, a lot of the dragons, I think the Twilight Drake, Hungry Dragon are both 4, Fairy Dragons 2. You're going to probably have to be holding an aspect. Azure Drake is also 5. If you have this, you're pretty much playing this before the Azure Drake, so you're kind of locking yourself up. I guess there's some dragons that got released, but I don't know how this is going to work out with a lot of the dragons being like 5 and under that are in the game for him to see. Solemn Vigil, Paladin card, 5 mana, draw 2 cards, cost 1 less for each minion died this turn. The cost 1 less for each minion that died this turn is new to the expansion. Paladin didn't have a draw 2 cards for 3, which is pretty standard. for the other classes that have draw cards like that. I think this is going to see a lot of play with Muster for Battle. You're going to have some cards that are dying, and your tokens are going to die a lot. Pretty good. I think it's going to see a lot of play just because your Silverhand recruits are going to die. So you're almost guaranteed that you can get some minions to die to get this down to 3 or less. Dragon's Breath, 5 mana, deal 4 damage, costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. I've been seeing people say this is going to be good with Flame Strike. I don't see it. Fireball's already 6 damage for 4 mana. I just don't see this seeing much play. Maybe a Spell Mage, and mix it with the Volcanic Drake, which I'll be talking about later. I don't think this is going to be good. If you have a turn 7 Flame Strike, your opponent's going to need to have 5 minions to kill. And if your opponent has that many minions, I think you're already in a bad spot, and 4 damage isn't going to really help you. We'll see. I could be wrong about this card, but I don't think it's going to be that great. Volcanic Drake, 6 mana, 6/4, costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. The idea is this is going to go with your AoE, your Flame Strikes, your Consecrates, and things like that, or even just good trading. You could get this for free if you trade three minions against their 3 minions and they all die. I think it's gonna be. I think it could be good. The only thing I would have to say is about getting it off your opponent's minions, their aggro decks, is that you gotta get the removal first. If you don't have the removal, this is pretty much worthless. And if you don't have removal, you die to aggro. You might be better off putting in some taunts like a Sledge Belcher or something than this. This isn't something I think you're going to get off early. I think it's going to be not a great card. Maybe against an aggro heavy meta, we'll have to see, but hope I'm wrong. Dragonette Crusher, 6 mana. If your opponent has 15 or less health, gain +3/+3. This is like an Anima Golem, but it doesn't have the effect if it's the only minion in play. I think this could see a lot of play, but 6 is a pretty contested slot. Sylvanas is there, and the Paladin Sky Golems are there. I'm intrigued by it. If you play this, it eats a big game hunter. Paves the way for your Doctor Boom. So I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's bad. We'll have to wait and see. Or kind of a mid-rangey deck. This is probably where this is going to see some play. Emperor Therazan, the best legendary in my opinion. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1, and it's 6 mana. It does what a good card should do, and that is it affects things immediately. You don't have to wait a turn, and if it dies, your cards are still going to cost 1 less. This is the Loatheb Blackrock Mountain, in my opinion. It's going to be in pretty much all the decks. Already did Volcanic Drake. Rend Blackhand, the first legendary to be released. I don't think this is going to be seeing a lot of play. I think it's kind of a noob trap when they complain about legendaries. Big Game Hunter is going to be better than this pretty much all the time. And the only thing you're going to be able to take out with this, you might be able to take out a Loatheb or a Dr. Boom. Those are the only two legendaries that are seeing consistent play besides the legendaries and Control Warrior. It's a junk card in my opinion. This 8/4 stat distribution is just total shit. Chromagus, whenever you draw a card, put another copy into your hand. Conflicted about this card. It seems really cool. Got similar stats to Kel'Thuzad. This has to live a turn in order for it to be useful. It's a 6/8. It's not affected by Big Game Hunter. Ideally, you might have some Leper Gnomes or something on board where you can immediately get some card draw. But if you can keep this in play, it's going to snowball and you're going to win just like Kel'Thuzad. But I think Kel'Thuzad is a little bit better. Volcanic Lumber, 9 mana, 7/8 with Taunt. Costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. This is one of the cards that have been released today. I don't know how I really feel about this. You could get this out pretty easily with Poison Seeds, because that's going to kill your minions and your opponent minions. But I also think that it's kind of a bad card, but maybe you could get it out early, eat a big Game Hunter for you. Pretty sure this isn't going to see much play at all, but I hope so. I'm gonna try it out. I'm thinking Poison Seeds is going to be the way. Maybe swipe against an aggro deck, and you can get some insane value out of this. Nefarian, a 9 cost, 8/8 Battlecry. Add 2 random spells to your hand from your opponent's class. This kind of goes off his fight, and the WoW game. I think this is going to be too slow. The Good Dragons, Alexstrasza and Ysara are because they immediately do something, and this might be better than Ysara because he is getting 2 cards where she only gets 1 if they only live for 1 turn. But you don't know what you're gonna get. I think this is just too random to bank on it. But definitely put it into a dragon deck if you don't have an Alexstrasza or something like that, and use it as a finisher. Definitely going to be a lot of fun. I think it might actually go into some decks, but definitely not as good as Alexstrasza. If you have an Alexstrasza, or maybe even a Ysera, that's what you're going to put it over this. And the last one, Major Domo Executus. Death Rattle, replace your hero with Regnerus, the Fire Lord. Regnerus, that your hero will turn into, has 8 health, and he has an ability for 2 mana that deals 8 damage to a random enemy character. The big thing about this is you only have 8 health. Far too risky in my opinion. It's a worse Draxus, and you can't really control when you turn into Regnerus if your opponent has a big game hunter. So I would avoid this. I think this is going to be another newbie trap card. Fun if you don't have another Regnerus, but just not. A 9/7 for 9 is really not the stats that's going to be worth the risk of taking on 8 health. Alright, that's all the cards. I'm probably going to be wrong about a lot of my predictions. I'm looking forward to the expansion that's coming out Thursday, and hopefully I come back and I can just tell you how wrong I was. Thank you for watching.